Hello, welcome to Community Viewpoint. I'm your host for this segment, Maria Guerra, and I am joined by Mr. Brent Leavitt. Hello.
Hello. Thanks.
How are you doing?
Great.
So, I know that a lot of people know who you are, but some people don't, and that's who we're going to introduce you today. So, you have Battleborn Financial out here, and you help all people, not just people just for open enrollment. It's everybody looking for health insurance, but you also have other products too.
Yeah, so I'm a certified financial planner, and I found that not everybody has access to capital, things like that, and so we help people. A big part of the financial plan is not just managing your money for retirement, but it's also your healthcare needs and your health insurance needs. So we have a couple of great health insurance brokers in my office that help people. We help all walks of life, whether it be regards to their individual health insurance through Nevada Health Link. We're actually a preferred broker with them. And then also with Medicare and open enrollment with Medicare, Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage. And the cool thing is all of our mantra has always been do what's best for everybody. On the financial side, we're fiduciaries. And on the healthcare side, I can always try to keep that same motto as being fiduciaries and doing what's best for you.
So, so one thing that was in the past was we had very limited choices in the past. But now that's changed now, for Pahrump anyway, which is kind of cool. And so how has that changed as far as like choices and more selection?
Yeah, so on the individual side for individual health insurance, we have a new carrier coming to town called Aetna. Unfortunately, there are no primary care doctors that are contracted on the plan right now in Pahrump. But we have more choices if you want to go to Vegas for that option. We have a total now of 5 insurance carriers on the individual side to pick from. And then we have on the Medicare side, we have about 8 different options on Medicare. It's crazy.
It used to be 2, right?
It used to be 2, and that's it forever on the Medicare side. And of those 8 carriers, they all have multiple options. They have PPOs, they have HMOs, they have POS plans, they have plans for people with chronic conditions, they have plans for people that have Medicaid and Medicare. There's just so many choices there.
So those can really be personalized to somebody. So say you hear from your neighbor, oh, they have this plan and this is for them, but your needs might be different, whether your prescriptions or health maintenance testing or whatever, blood work, whatever, you can figure out what their stuff is.
Yeah, everybody's just so unique. Before I used to think when you get so many choices and so many options, it becomes almost like now what do I pick? Am I picking the wrong one? Is the grass greener somewhere else? It's hard to really know. But it's hard. But there's certain things you can do to help make a better decision, and that's what we talk about. We talk about your doctors, your drugs, and then the costs that you're going to be paying for all your services. So those are the big things we always focus upon: is making sure that we're matching your needs to the plan that would actually fit that box and that mold correctly. And sometimes it might be the plan that maybe has a little higher copay for something than the other plan does. Doesn't mean it's the wrong plan or it's not a great plan. It's just going to maybe work differently for you.
So you want them to look at the big picture, like how much are you spending per year on something? And I think we were talking at another time, and you were saying that you had talked to a doctor, and he had like the 3 rules.
Yeah, it was Dr. Harding. I got that triple D thing for you, but it's the dollars, doctors, and drugs. So those are the big things that drive everything with healthcare.
Something easy to remember.
Yeah, the triple Ds. The things that we always think about is just the fact that we get so afraid of paying a copay sometimes for a certain service, like, oh, I don't want to pay $35 to go see a doctor. But we forget the fact that, well, what are you paying monthly for that insurance to get that $35 copay? Are you paying it to the insurance company? As much as I love insurance, and it's good to sell, there's a tool. It's not the end-all, be-all for everything you should be doing in life. I mean, giving money to an insurance company shouldn't be. I don't think anybody really fully enjoys paying those monthly premiums every month. Right. It's not a fun activity, but we do it anyways because we understand the value that they're going to give us if something major happens to us. I just think of the experiences I've had personally with my own family, my parents and myself and my kids, situations where we've had massive medical bills for things like my mom with cancer, my dad with some heart conditions, my twins being born prematurely, things like just life stages we've gone through that I've been able to go through and see like the importance of having those insurance benefits, how we would have been destitute financially had we not had that insurance, but understanding the fact that we're not also paying absorbent amount of money to keep that insurance in place, just to find out I can't even afford my medical bills on top of that. Medical debt is the biggest expense that people have in this country, and we can avoid a lot of that by just making sure you have a good balance. And I think talking to a broker or something like us makes it a little bit better, makes it easier, because we can hopefully make your experience a little bit better. Not just before the sale, but during the sale too. I was in a broker meeting, we talked about some research the carriers do to find out, how well they're doing on metrics with the community, how they like the plan. And they found that people that actually had a broker, they liked the plan a whole lot more than if they didn't have a broker. They bought it on their own.
I think it's easier to sift through all that stuff because there's so much stuff coming at people, commercials and phone calls and what should somebody look out for when somebody like calls them? Because I mean, having a broker, like, it's personal. Like, you're here in town, you have a vested interest in our community. I feel like people, when you work with people that are local, that are in the same community, like, you're looking out for your community versus somebody calling from, back east or something, trying to sell you a plan in Pahrump that maybe you can't use. Does that happen?
All the time. And it's tough when people on the phone, they make these great claims and things that you can probably get, and more likely your plan already has on it.
Right.
That you're thinking, I'm going to get these great programs. But they don't really understand. They might look up your doctor and say, well, it looks like your doctors are there. I can sell in other states too, but I personally choose not to because I'm like, I don't fully know how it's going to affect you and your care. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to get, yes, they have some, maybe I don't know a little nuance about the plan, because it's hard to really be a good practitioner unless you really understand where you're coming from. Nevada Health Link has done a great job of making sure brokers are only in the local market to be able to sell their plans.
Okay.
On the Medicare side, it's kind of an open game. Everybody's trying to sell, and they're just, all they're really trying to do in that broker thing is they're trying to get an agent of record for you. You can be on one plan that might be the best plan for them, but because it's not the plan that they sold to you, they don't get paid on it. So it's better to move you to another plan so that they get paid on it. It's one of those the adverse incentives is trying to get you to move from what you currently have, even though you have everything they talked about in the commercial. Well, if you have Anthem, they're going to move you to United Healthcare, or you're on United Healthcare, they're going to move you to Anthem, or Senior Care Plus, whatever plan that sounds better. Yeah.
Okay.
And the plans that we have out here, and the interesting thing too, so I go back and forth Medicare and individual, talking about those because they're two different beasts. But on the individual side, we get a lot of scams from people saying, get this great PPO, no deductible, blah, 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 and national access. And in reality, those sound great, but they're not really health insurances.
They're like discount plans.
They're discount plans, or they might have a limited benefit, like a defined benefit for certain things.
Like $1,000 a year, something ridiculous.
And they're only, really, like I said, there's only 5 carriers that have actually legitimately filed plans and rates in the state of Nevada that have real legitimate contracts with the state of Nevada. On the individual side, we have Aetna, Anthem, HMO. We also have Friday Health Plans and Health Plan of Nevada and Ambetter. So we have those carriers that have actually filed plans in the state of Nevada. So if anything happens to you where it's like, I have a cancer or stroke or whatever it is, they have a legal obligation to cover your medical condition. It's in their contract. And if they decline stuff to get you access to care because of whatever legal stuff, you have the right to go in and appeal it. You have the right to file a complaint with the Commissioner of Insurance and say, why aren't they following through with their contracts? And you have a legal right versus somebody that sells you a plan that's not really insurance. It's hard to really know those legal rights there. It's a gray area of why aren't you covering this? Well, there's really no legal bounds. They couldn't even sell the state legally. They just filed this plan that sounded great. It's kind of like those car warranty companies that can say, hey, well, your car warranty is expired. You get those all the time. And we know for a fact that your car warranty is expired. They're just trying to sell you something that sounds good, but in reality it's not. On the Medicare side stuff too, again, it's just trying to get people to change their broker, their plan change. And I've had a few clients that they got duped into that, some kind of phone call, and they didn't even realize what's going on. And next thing you know, they're enrolled in this plan that if they go forward on it, they lost all their doctors. All their appointments were scheduled for the next month. They lost their plan, and all of a sudden they can't see doctors or get the care they need. So that's an important thing to know, and especially switching in the middle of the year. Most people just can't really switch in the middle of the year. There's reasons why they have open enrollment. October 15th to December 7th for Medicare. Individuals is November 1st through December 31st this year. And then there's another time frame. You can make a one-time switch for Medicare and for individuals in the month of January. But just be careful. I'm switching in the middle of the year, like June, July, August, unless there's a legitimate reason to do it. Just be careful as you switch those plans because you can really put yourself in a world of hurt when it comes to that. And it's not the end of the world. So just know that, if maybe you made a mistake you can always call your brokers at Battleborn Financial. We'll help you out. And we won't try to take a broker record change from you. We'll just say, hey, is it good or bad, and shop it.
I mean, I've spoken to people in the community too that have gone over to talk to you and ended up not changing anything because you found that whatever they had was the best for them. And I thought that was really, that showed me anyway that there was a lot of integrity at that business. So I feel like it's really important, like, especially in this community, there is so much, there's, like you said, the car warranties, everything there's open to, maybe it's not like an illegitimate business, but maybe it is a scam, maybe it's not, but it might not be the best for you. So it's kind of better with so much out there to put a face with a name and have somebody you can actually trust in your community. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. And we're there to help you guys. Our number is on the bottom of the screen there, the 764-2252. We have wonderful staff, Aubriana and Tess Matson. They're just, they're phenomenal. They know their stuff, and they actually live in the community as well. Everybody's out here in Pahrump.
That's awesome.
We do service, I know this gets broadcast in Vegas too, but we also service Vegas. I actually have an office in North Las Vegas and South Las Vegas that we do service as well.
That's cool.
So we do try to make sure we're available in the community. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're always over there and available to you guys. So it's always good.
That's awesome. And then we're going to do one more segment after this. We have a couple more questions, but after this. We have like a minute or so left. But after this, I want to ask you about the financial services at the next segment. So look for that. So anyway, let's go back to this. So let's speak your phone number anyway, in case somebody's just listening to this. So we have it at 775. I just did it for you. Go ahead.
764-2252. No, give us a call. Chat with us a little bit more. Health insurance season's right here.
Yeah.
There are new plans. And and I always say this, we're doing some stuff on the every Friday in October, the 15th, 22nd, and 29th. We're doing an event at Purple Tulip Quilts and More. We're doing a little sales seminar for Medicare, so come out and join us from 9. That's 1971 Pahrump Valley Boulevard, Suite C, and we're doing from 9:30 in the morning till 12:30 in the afternoon. So come and join some of those, see some of the new plans for the new year.
That's awesome, and I will post this on our Community Viewpoint KPVM Facebook page as well. I'll post all of that information on there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pollock, your host for this segment. And we have the honor today of having with us Fire Chief Assistant for the Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, Jennifer Fanning. Yes. It's the first time I've had you on, I believe.
I know.
Yes. It's interesting that they have Scott, because you look much better than Scott. Sorry. Both he and I have aged. But anyway, we're here because October is Fire Prevention Month, and we usually have the fire department here for the spring when when burning season ends, which is usually March
It's usually May.
or May,
Yeah.
and then naturally October for Fire Prevention Week, and then Christmas time for telling you how not to burn your house down with the Christmas light and Christmas presents and things like that. So let's get on with the show. The goal of the Fire Prevention Month, the week of October 3rd through the 9th, is to raise fire safety awareness and help ensure your home and family is protected. In 1922, the National Fire Protection Association, the NFPA, named the second week of October Fire Prevention Week in commemoration of the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. That's where I come in. That's where I was born. Today we celebrate Fire Prevention Week and month by raising fire safety awareness and educating families, students, and communities across the United States. During this month, fire departments provide education to their communities and encourage parents and loved ones to practice fire prevention and home safety. The NFPA's 2021 campaign for Fire Safety Month is Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, and Jennifer is going to tell us a little bit about what they were able to bring to the kids in this town. As a matter of fact, during the first week or the second week, I was going past the Christian school and I saw your truck out there and I saw you out there. with the kids. And tell us a little bit about what you did that week, please.
So this was actually my first year getting to do fire prevention, actually getting to teach it to the children. For about the last 6, maybe 7 years, I've handled the scheduling of it, getting all the paperwork put together for the kids. But this year I got the joy of actually putting it together. We were a little thrown off because of COVID. So last year the kids did not get a fire prevention. And so this year we didn't feel that it was right to not have it again, but putting 500 students in an auditorium to do fire prevention just didn't seem right with our COVID numbers and things like that. So Chief Lewis said that we could allow the schools to pick what they wanted as far as a fire truck, a ladder truck, or a heavy rescue, and they could decide which one they wanted. We came and we did just a brief presentation of the vehicles, but we went into a fire prevention and outdoor prevention for the kids, where we had one of the firefighters dressed up in full head to toe SCBA. He masked up, turned the air on. They sound a lot like Darth Vader when they're like that.
Oh, I imagine.
So we want the kids to not be scared. You know, if an emergency happens and we have to go into their homes, we don't want the kids to hide or be scared of the firefighters. So they get dressed up and we kind of walk around so the kids can see and hear them. And it was really good. I thought that we really had a good turnout. The kids really seemed to enjoy it, and it seemed really good this year.
So how many people were out there for the fire department? I saw you and a couple other.
It was me and one other firefighter. That day, it was just the two of us that were able to go out. I don't usually get to go on those things, so it was kind of fun to get to actually be part of it, you know, not only from the planning side of it, but to get to actually teach it. So it was me and one other firefighter. He dressed out in SCBA, and then I just continued talking to the children and answered questions that they had and things like that for them.
Oh, excellent. And you did that more than once, or?
We did, yeah. We went to, I believe, almost all of the schools. I think we missed one of the schools, and then another one of the schools, I believe it was Mance. It rained, and we were unable to make it for that. So I told them that we'd reschedule another day here when, you know, the weather gets a little bit better and we can go out there and do it for them. So.
And another thing we look at in October, but not only October, but all throughout the year is the batteries for the smoke detectors.
Correct.
In our homes. I know my home is 21, 22 years old. The one in the smoke detector just off the kitchen, it was going off too quickly, even when we changed the batteries. And I know when my wife cooks, she doesn't smoke up the house like I do. So I bought another one, similar to the one I had, and that took care of the problem. And then since then I did some research. They said possibly after 10 years they go bad.
That's correct.
I didn't realize that.
The NFPA recommends that we change our batteries and our smoke alarms every time we change our clocks. So twice a year you're supposed to change your batteries and your smoke alarms. And yeah, they said that they're only good for about 10 years. In my home, we had to replace all of ours at 8 years. Ours didn't even make it 10 years. We had the same problem where, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, it started going off. And of course it was in my daughter's room and she'd run out crying. And so we took them down, and I went in there and I was talking to Chief, and he's the one that told me. He said, yeah, look it up, you know, every 10 years. And so I did the research on it, and it definitely says that they're only rated for 10 years. So when you remove them, inside of them, there's a date that's actually stamped inside there, and that'll tell you the manufacture date. I recommend to a lot of people, when you go to get new ones, to take it with you to Home Depot or wherever you're going to buy it from, to make sure that the pin that goes into it is the same pin. Because a lot of them are hardwired together. And so most of them use the same pin, but just to make sure that you don't buy them, you know, get them home, go through all the hassle of putting it up into your ceiling, and then to have it not be the correct pin. So to take it with you. And
So that was a lesson learned for me, and it worked out well. So I'm okay for the next one that goes on me. Anything else we should look at in the fall and October? I know with the winds, what kind of odd things happen for the fire department during the winds?
oh my gosh, we have had so much stuff. We've had trees blow down. We've had people's roofs collapse. I mean, the winds have just
They called you out?
Definitely, yeah. We've had some really weird things happen. This whole year has just been kind of a weird year with the weather.
I talk about the change in the weather and the climate change, and people don't believe me, but things are changing, and you've noticed it too.
Yes.
Well, this is only the second time I had roof tiles that had to be replaced in our home too. But anything else that in the fall that to look forward to or not look forward to for the fire department?
Well, we
Fire or your furnaces and your heating.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. As soon as everyone starts turning on their heaters, we're going to get called out for a lot of smoke investigations. That happens a lot.
Right now is a good time to replace your filters or clean them. I have the filters that you wash and clean and replace. And also make sure you don't have anything blocking your furnace between the furnace and the wall. If you have propane, you should have what kind of a monitor? Carbon monoxide, yes. I got rid of carbon monoxide or any propane in the house some years ago, so I'm not really worried about that too much. But it's the smoke and the fire that I'm worried about. And fire extinguishers. In which room should we have them in?
Especially in the kitchen.
Yes, I have one above the stove. And bedrooms, hallways. I'm passing the test so far. So anything else we should be looking at for fire prevention?
So we talked to the kids about having a second exit out of the house.
Yes.
So our bedroom window is considered a second exit in the house. So I tried to do all the parents a favor and tell the kids to make sure to keep their rooms picked up so that there's nothing in the way of the windows so that the kids can get out of their bedroom windows. I know a lot of parents don't like it, but sleeping with their bedroom door shut is always recommended. Most home doors are rated to give you approximately 30 minutes.
Okay.
So if there was a fire in the home, that door is supposed to give at least, approximately 30 minutes of time. Checking the door with the backs of our hands, not the front, because if we have to crawl, you don't want to crawl with your hand that's burnt. So check the doors with the back of your hand to see if it's hot before you open it.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, so a few things that we just kind of talked to the kids about, but and having a safe meeting place is always a big one with the kids. Whether it's your mailbox out front, the big tree, the well in the backyard, whatever it is, the safe place to have everybody get out of the house. We talk to the kids a lot about not going back in. A lot of the time the kids are very worried about pets or, their toys or things like that, and not to worry about that kind of stuff. Pets usually find their way out, parents find their way out, things, get outside and call 911.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so many years ago, I work at the library, and I formulated a plan for exiting if there's an emergency, a fire. Also, I marked down where all the fire extinguishers were and all the fire exits too, and we have that on a big picture of the library. So we go over that with new employees when they come in also. But anything else we're looking at for fire prevention since we're talking about it?
Not really too much more for the fire prevention. We talked about, kitchen safety with the kids, not, touching the stove when it's hot, pots and pans that are on the stove, things like that. Just trying to get the kids not to touch things, when they're hot so they don't get burned.
Or myself, like out of the microwave, is it done? Yes, it's done. But we're looking at the fall, the winter months, and we talked about your furnaces coming back on again. And anything else we're looking at with our homes? What should we be doing in the wintertime?
Well, we just set the date today to open burn season.
I know I wanted to talk about the burn season.
Burn season, yeah. So Chief Lewis said that November 1st at 8 o'clock will be the start of burn season for this year. There is a requirement that you have to be the homeowner and you need to have insurance on the property. You can get the application to get the burn permit is at www.pahrumpnv.org. You go to the fire department page, and at the bottom there is an area for the permit application. All the instructions on there are listed.
And you stop burning when the wind is what?
Well, 5 miles an
5
hour.
miles an hour.
Yeah, so it's not very high.
No. So it's time to wrap it up, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
And give Scott my best wishes.
I will.
And we'll see you or Scott or someone for the Christmas time.
Sure.
We're not burning down our house with our presents and our Christmas lights. So thank you very much. Thank
you.
you. We'll see you next week.